So I was literally in the middle of cooking dinner, and I was listening to a podcast about a woman who had a lot of issues breastfeeding. She had a premature baby, and she went through lots of different issues, and she was not able to successfully breastfeed. Then on her second child, she faced a lot of the same issues, but she was able to find a solution. And it really touched my heart because this mom did not give up, and it made me realize that a lot of women are giving up breastfeeding simply because they were not prepared for the experience. And I'm just going to say right off the bat, if you are breastfeeding or attempting to breastfeed and you are in a lot of pain, it may be for a good reason or maybe for a non-productive reason. So breastfeeding itself, the act of putting baby to the breast and feeding the child, should not be a painful process. Should not. But there are some circumstances in which breastfeeding will be painful. And today I want to talk about those reasons, because you may be in a predicament where breastfeeding is excruciating and you want to quit. And hopefully after watching this video, you'll feel a little bit more informed to continue to breastfeed. So here are some reasons why breastfeeding may hurt. Number one, when you first start breastfeeding, in those first couple days up to like the 1 or 2 week mark, your uterus is going through a process called involution. It is returning back to its original size. This process is painful, and if you are breastfeeding, it's going to be more painful. When you breastfeed, you're releasing a hormone called oxytocin in your body, and that is signaling to your uterus to begin to contract back down to its normal size. Now, breastfeeding makes these contractions a lot stronger than they would be if you weren't breastfeeding. And every time you bring the baby to breast to feed, or even if the baby is just laying on you, it is signaling your body to make a lot of that hormone oxytocin so your uterus can shrink back down, and it hurts. So right off the bat, you should know, yes, that is going to be a time where breastfeeding hurts. Another time breastfeeding is going to hurt when your breasts are getting used to being sucked on every other hour. Okay, it just is what it is. It doesn't matter what part of the body. If I just suck on a piece of your skin, eventually it's gonna get sore. Even if I go like this, like, it's not hard, I'm not doing it hard, but if I continue to do this for a long time, eventually this skin in this part of your arm is gonna get sore just by the nature of it being manipulated so much. And so in those first few days, even though a proper latch will keep you from having extremely sore nipples, if you're a first-time mom, even with a good latch, you may still experience a little bit of nipple soreness until your body gets used to someone being on your breast every other hour. It shouldn't be excruciating, it shouldn't be bleeding, but it may be sensitive. Another reason why breastfeeding may hurt is engorgement. So in the beginning, those first few days, maybe even up to the first week, your body is producing colostrum, and that is very thick substance. It's often like a golden color, but the baby only really needs a little bit of that because their tummy is so small. But as your milk begins to mature and your body is producing milk for the baby, your body is going to produce more than what you need. And then as your baby feeds, it will then regulate itself because it'll see, oh, okay, this is how much the baby needs. I can cut back on making so much milk. But that very beginning process, when the milk is coming in and it's coming in strong, that engorgement can be painful. And a lot of women, number one, don't know how to relieve engorgement, and they don't know how to relieve it properly. For example, with my first baby, I had watched a video here on YouTube that said when you're engorged, you should pump. So what did I do? I pumped, and I remained engorged for the next 2 weeks because my body was getting the signal to continue making as much milk as you are because the supply is going away. But in reality, if you're engorged, you can use ice, you can use heat or a warm shower, you can hand express a little bit, but not too much. You can massage, you can do various techniques to relieve that pain and shorten the time that you're actually engorged. And then the last reason you may be feeling some pain with breastfeeding would be your letdown. So again, when you first get that abundance of milk, there's something called a letdown reflex. So basically, when baby is put to the breast, the milk does not squirt right out. There has to be a summoning of the milk. So as the baby is sucking, your body is getting the signal, okay, time to release the milk. And the milk has to travel from basically up in the breast down to the nipple. And that is what we would call like the letdown. Some women have a slow letdown and it takes time. Some women have a rush of a letdown, and it can be painful. It's kind of like that feeling you get when you've been like sitting on a particular, like you've been sitting, what am I trying to say? You've been sitting for too long and you get up and your legs feel numb, and then you get that like pins and needle tingly feeling. It can be kind of like that, but like way stronger and like just boom all at once. And that can be a painful process, but again, that goes away when your milk begins to regulate itself and you don't have so much of an abundance, like letting down so fast. So those are some reasons that breastfeeding might be a painful experience at times, but I just wanted to make this video to let moms know, like, hey, these are some things you should be expecting. And I also have another video that I'm going to post about the first month of breastfeeding, simply because it's just not enough of us talking about it. It's not enough information, and sadly a lot of our parents did not breastfeed and a lot of our grandparents didn't breastfeed, so there's no anecdotal knowledge being passed down, and even tips and tricks and hacks and things of that nature are not being passed down. So I really feel it important that those who are getting back into breastfeeding share your story, share your knowledge, share what you went through, because we can all continue to learn from it. And I will just say this to end the video: if you are not experiencing those things that I named, but you're still in pain, then that could be a sign that you have an issue with your latch. And that can be a huge reason why women are experiencing pain in breastfeeding, and a lot of women will give up and they don't even have any idea that they have a bad latch, because a lot of women fall through the cracks when they go to the hospital and they just don't get the support they need as far as lactation goes. Even if you have the knowledge of what a good latch is, your baby might have a tongue tie or a lip tie, and you may not even be aware of it, and that could be causing issues in breastfeeding. So I just wanted to kind of put this out there as a way for women to see that there are many different parts of breastfeeding that are not always desirable, but ultimately in the long run, breastfeeding should not be a painful experience. It should be natural, normal, and just easy, honestly. But that's as long as we have the wisdom and the education that we need. And actually, in the podcast, the woman says something very clever, and she said breastfeeding is determination, creativity, support, and education. And I completely agree. I'm gonna link the podcast that I was listening to down below. Check it out. She has tons of great podcasts on birth and pregnancy and postpartum. Thank you for watching Her Holistic Path, my journey to holistic freedom. And if this video helped you, Please share with your friends. Send it to your mama. I know you have a pregnant friend or a friend that's pregnant or a friend who got a baby or something, okay? Send it over to them, okay? I'm trying to increase the knowledge, increase the community, all of that. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can be updated when I make new videos. And I hope y'all have a blessed day.